We have with us a real privilege. We have Gavy Friedson of United Hatzalah as Director of International Services. Gavy is a very fascinating person who himself has saved like the lives of many, many people individually on his own, and is really doing tremendous work with United Hatzalah, saving the lives of tens of thousands of people. The idea here with our C.A.R.E.S series is for students and community members as well to be able to spend some time together processing, thinking about these crazy times that we are living in, trying to make a little bit of sense of them, seeing different perspectives of different leaders and different organizations from around the world as they manage and lead us through these very difficult times. United Hatzalah really is a leader in so many different ways, and I want you guys to learn a little bit about United Hatzalah. Gavy is a wonderful presenter. You're going to hear his story and the story of United Hatzalah. In order to kick that off, what we like to do is begin with a video. It's a short video that sort of highlights in an emotional way some of the work that United Hatzalah does in Israel. I asked Gavy to mention this, but I'll mention it myself before I kick it off. It has a similar name. United Hatzalah sounds like, I'm sure to many of you, you're familiar with Hatzalah. You may have the Hatzalah of Riverdale, Hatzalah of the West Side. They're all life-saving organizations. But United Hatzalah is this organization based in Israel that you're going to learn about. Similar sort of goals of saving lives, but a totally different kind of organization, so don't be confused. I'd like you to direct your eyes towards the screen. I'm going to disappear, and you're going to be looking at this extraordinary video for a couple of minutes. Watch this video. After the video, you're going to hear directly from Gavy Friedson. I just want to note that while Mr. Friedson is talking, everybody is encouraged to use the chat room, and you can post questions that you may have when he's done with his presentation. I am going to moderate the Q&A. So let's take a look at the video, please.
במקום הזה אני 30 שנה משחק טניס. הספסל שאני יושב עליו זה נקודת חיים בשבילי. פה מתתי, והיום יום הולדת שנה שלי, אז אפשר לחגוג יום הולדת. זה היה ביום שישי, שיחקתי במגרש. אני זוכר שהרגשתי עייפות, ואז ישבתי כאן, ומאז אני לא זוכר כלום. איך שהצלת אותי. על הספסל הזה אני הייתי, ואתה הגעת משם. יחיד בשבילי, זה החיים החדשים שלי. נקודה.
Medically, his heart went into defib. There was no life, and he was already because the blood flow had stopped. Everything already started to. You could see it on his, on his face and on his body. You give a shock, press the button. And jump. You jump. I was actually in the middle of a Hatzalah course, so I would just had learned the CPR.
כל הערכה שלי לאיחוד הצלה, על המהירויות שהם באים, טק, טק, טק. אמבולנס הגיע רק 7 דקות אחרי זה. אתה יודע מה זה 7 דקות בשביל אחד ששוכב? הוא לא הייתי כאן. אחרי המקרה הזה, יחיאל הוא בעצם נתן לי את הכרטיס לעולם הזה. זה פשוט כך.
We become friends. More than friends. I met his family, his wife. He's met some of my children and my wife.
אני רואה אותו, חוזרים לי החיים לפרצוף. וזהו, אין מה, הסברים יותר מזה אי אפשר.
הוא אחד מהאנשים שעזרו לאבא שלי.
דוקטור אבירם פה הציל אותי, ומאז נהיינו חברים טובים.
אני קיבלתי דום לב. הוא נתן לי מכות חשמל. בזכות זה אני פה.
אני קיבלתי קריאה על תאונת דרכים, תאונה קשה. אתה ממש היית בצד של ה...
אני הייתי פצוע קשה. הוא עזר לי לחיות.
Hatzalah gives us the tools to help save lives. I mean, those are the facts, straight. You get a call on the beeper, so to say, that there's somebody in a situation, an emergency, and we pretty much just drop everything and we go to help out.
וככה אנחנו מפוזרים כמה שיותר אנשים, אם זה רופאים, פרמדיקים, אחים ואחיות, חובשים.
היום יש גם אפליקציה של משרד הבריאות, שהכוננים הקרובים מוקפצים.
זה לא תלוי בשום דבר, זה התנדבותי הכל, אתם לא מבינים, זה לתת חיים באותו רגע.
זה לא כי אני טוב, זה כי נתנו לי את הציוד, כי למדתי, כי הייתי באזור, כי נעניתי לקריאה, כי אנחנו רשת.
Hatzalah is it's a very unique family. It's for everybody that wants to volunteer. It's open to any religion, any color, race. It's really quite amazing.
כי זו המטרה שלנו, זו המטרה של הציוד, זו המטרה שלי כשהצטרפתי לארגון הזה, לעזור לבן אדם כבן אדם.
זה ממש לא מובן מאליו שלא יהיה שום תשלום. דאגו לי, ללא כל תמורה.
הוא עזר לאבא שלי, כאילו, הוא עזר לי להישאר בחיים. הוא הציל בערך מישהו שאני אחיה לו. תודה.
זה היה ברור לי לחלוטין שנשלחת ושזה מוקדם מדי לקחת אותי מכאן.
לגמרי.
בזכותך אני חי.
الصراحة يعني ساعدتني هول وشكراني لك.
So if we're able to save one life, it's as if we saved,
Whole world.
So I was
All my world.
So first of all, wow, I still get the chills watching that video, even though I've seen it so many times, because they're not actors. Those are real people. I know those people. I know those medics, and those are real stories. And it's amazing every single time I see it. So I had to say that. First of all, it is an honor to be here with all of you. Really thank you to having me and to everyone that is participating in this and for taking the time to learn about our incredible organization called United Hatzalah. As you saw in the video, I represent an organization of lifesavers. And I, just like yourselves, moved to Israel actually with my family in 1999 when I was only 10 years old. And I moved to Jerusalem and I needed something that would really connect me with society in Israel. And at that time, just a few years later, I started volunteering on the back of the ambulance, just like our founder, Eli Beer, who we will learn a little bit more about a little bit later. And he started volunteering on the back of the ambulance, which is great. But he himself learned that ambulances are a great way to transport a patient to the hospital, but they're not the best in actually saving a person's life. As you know, if you've seen in New York, most of you in New York City especially, ambulances with lights and sirens just get stuck in traffic. So, in the non-corona days when there's everybody out in the street, it's just horrible amounts of traffic, and the ambulances just get stuck and they can't get to where they need to get to in time, and it will take anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes. So we have the same problem in Israel. If somebody calls for an ambulance and someone is choking or not breathing or fainted or traffic accident, to wait 15, 20 minutes is just too long. And Eli Beer had this vision, understanding not only from his days when he was volunteering, that it is frustrating to arrive when somebody calls for help and to arrive 20 minutes too late. And he realized if people are able to get pizza on the back of motorcycles in less than 10 minutes, then there's no reason we can't deliver life in even a shorter amount of time than that. And that's when the concept in 2006, we created a concept called United Hatzalah, which is Hatzalah, the Hebrew word for rescue. And we today serve everywhere in Israel, from the north all the way in Metula, all the way down south to Eilat, all of Israel, with over 6,000 medics, Jews, Christian, Muslim, all sectors of society, all walks of life. We work together, volunteer every single day to help our fellow strangers, neighbors, family members, whoever we can, to really get there. And our response time today, because of Eli's vision, is now less than 3 minutes, and in most cases even 90 seconds in places like Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. I can tell you that I've personally responded to over 10,000 emergencies while responding to emergencies in Israel. Right now I'm living in Washington, D.C., but I still go back to Israel, and the second I'm there, I'm back on my ambucycle, which I've responded to with my ambucycle for many, many years. And I can't tell you every single time I would get to an emergency in less than 90 seconds, how grateful I was to not only be volunteering for such an incredible organization, but to understand the power of change that has come to the world, of revolutionizing the EMS world because of this. It kind of disrupted the entire way and thinking of EMS in general, where you're waiting for somebody gets sick, you're waiting for an ambulance to come, but they come 20 minutes too late. Here, we're almost like Uber in the sense of when you call our dispatch, we are able to respond with our technology and finding the 5 closest medics, and we are able to locate who is closest to the emergency, and they will get on their ambucycle or in their car or in their electric bike that they have that is donated through the organization, and everything that's in these motorcycles, ambucycles, electric bikes, ATVs, is life-saving equipment that would be in an ambulance. So everything that's in an ambulance are in the back of these motor vehicles, and every medic is fully equipped to be able to respond to any emergency. And we get there, again, within 3 minutes or less, making a huge difference every single day. We respond to over almost 2,000 calls a day. And now, with what's going on in the world with this global pandemic of corona, as you all know, our medics are on the front lines even more. I mean, we have to not only be more protected with the with the masks and all of our equipment and the oxygen, and making sure that our 6,000 plus medics are fully well equipped with all the protective equipment. On top of that, we even opened up the humanitarian division, which provides food, medicine to elderly that can't leave their homes. As you know, in Israel, there is a full lockdown, and hopefully as of yesterday, it's actually starting to lift up a little bit. But for weeks, they were locked in, and elderly people couldn't go to the pharmacies to get their medicine. And we partnered and with 2 other humanitarian organizations, but we were leading the initiative on this with our dispatch and our medics. So we had over 30,000 volunteers distributing life-saving humanitarian needs to all these people around Israel, with thousands of calls every single day, on top of just our 2,000 life-saving calls that we'd get every single day of a person having a stroke or a heart attack or a traffic accident. And there were very strict measures in Israel. Everyone was in lockdown, so this humanitarian division of our organization has in itself saved so many, many lives. Can you just imagine if a person didn't get the medication that they needed, and if they went into diabetic shock? So it's really just an amazing initiative that was created by United Hatzalah. And that's just a side note of how we are dealing with Corona and thinking out of the box of ways that we can help, the Israeli society. All of our volunteers don't get paid. Again, it's volunteer. They do this from the goodness of their heart to help their fellow neighbors and friends, and they understand how important it is and what a Kiddush Hashem, I would call it. I would even say Tikkun Olam at its finest, to really come together in the most important times every single day when somebody needs help, and to get there in 3 minutes or less. It really is an incredible organization that I've had the honor of volunteering with for many, many years, and will probably do for as long as I can, because I know that lives are being saved every single day because of it, because of the technology, because of the volunteers and how special they are. Eli Beer, our founder, was actually diagnosed with the COVID-19 in Miami when he was a couple of weeks ago, and he was fundraising for more life-saving equipment. And he was actually on a ventilator for almost 30 days, fighting for his life. And thank God he's actually back in Israel recovering with his family now. So if anyone knows about what's going on with this coronavirus and how deadly it can be, it's him. And all the volunteers work together around the clock to continue to go out and save lives, and make Hatzalah, well known to the world that we are on the front lines, and we are doing our best every single day to fight this, and we're always there. And when you're in Israel, I encourage each and every one of you to try to come and see our dispatch. It's amazing. It's technologically advanced like I've never seen before. You have Jews and Christians and Muslims sitting next to each other, side by side, working together, politics aside, just to save a life. It is so unique. It is so rare. And it is really changing the world. And I encourage each and every one of you to see how you can get involved. We have summer camps partnerships with NCSY as well. I don't know if it'll happen this summer just because of everything that's happening with the virus and how the world is changing with Corona. But it is just a unique organization, secular, non-secular, Jews. Again, it's just everybody, men, women, everyone. Everyone can join. You just obviously have to do a course and be an EMT. But if you are willing to take the time to volunteer and help your neighbor and help us make the world a better place, you will be accepted. And I encourage each and every one of you to learn more about us. There's so much footage and videos that you can learn on YouTube, on our Facebook page, different events that we're always holding. Please tune in. You can always feel free to get in touch with me if you'd like. And I encourage just the next time you're in Israel to come visit us and see what you can do to help us as we grow. Because the more volunteers we have and the more equipment we have, the more we will be able to save more people's lives. So really, really is an honor to take this time and your time to sit here and explain to you how important, how vital United Hatzalah is in the healthcare and emergency response in Israel.
Gavy, I want to point out to you, everybody, we originally, in addition to Gavy speaking about United Hatzalah, we were going, as he mentioned, he's based right now in DC. Gavy wanted to have one of the leaders of United Hatzalah in Israel, in Afula, talk, and that was our original plan. We thought we were going to not be able to do that because he had to be called on an emergency just a bit ago, and so we were going to, kind of scuttle those plans. But Gavy, I think I just got word that Adi was able to join the Zoom chat. Now we finished the back from the emergency. So perhaps Gavy, you want to introduce Adi to say a few words as well.
Oh, this is so great. Yes. Okay. I was worried also that he wasn't going to make it because he's in the middle of an ambulance shift right now in Afula in Israel. I can't wait to get back there and join him on a shift soon. We have the pleasure of speaking with a person right now who's taking his time, pulled over from the ambulance just to talk to all of you. So Adi, He's one of the best. He is the head of the Afula region. He supervises many volunteers in that area, and he's going to share with us a live update from Israel of what's going on in regards to Corona and United Hatzalah. Hello, Adi. Shalom.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, hi, everybody. My name is Adi. As I said before, I just sorry about the timing. It's not the best timing for me because I'm here in the ambulance right now. You cannot see because it's dark. It's night over here. We just finished to transfer another guy to the hospital, and I asked the crew if it's okay that I'll stay here. The driver and the guy behind me, well, you cannot see them. They just took them off, took the guy off to the emergency room. He's okay. He just broke his ankle. And I stayed here in the ambulance so I can talk to you guys and tell you about United Hatzalah in Israel. So as you can see, as Gabe said before, this is a volunteer, completely free. We're not getting any money for that, but we're spending day and night saving people. And it's really needed. I'm here in the ambulance. Gavy said about motorcycles that we use usually, but the problem with the motorcycle, we cannot transfer people. And with the ambulances, we can do that, and we do it for free. We don't charge like the other organization in Israel that we charge money for. We do that as free as well, and it's a great honor to do it, to help people and volunteering, not charging, not waiting for anything back. Just help somebody when it's times of needs like that. That you can just imagine when you call an ambulance, what's going on in your mind, in your house, the entire family, the chaos go around that. Even if it's a minor thing, when you call an ambulance, it's not that minor. And to see people come in through the door and give you all the help you need with all the equipment and treat you right and put you in an ambulance, take you to the hospital, not asking for anything in return. It's a great feeling for me just to see the faces of a parent, that we take in his child or whatnot and giving them the treatment they need. And it's a great feeling to help people. I cannot say it in words. Just you need to see the faces of these people. I want to tell you guys a story. When I finished my studies and I got my degree and I start volunteering and saving people, 3 or 4 days after I finished my course, I got in a call. It was a Friday, right before Shabbat, like around 3 or 4 o'clock. I was at home reading a book, getting ready for Shabbat, and I got a call about a kid that drowned in a pool. About 3 minutes later, I was there doing a CPR on, I think it was 17 or 18-month-old baby that drowned in a pool, and I saved his life. I did save his life, and the ambulance got there about 25 minutes later because it was a small village near Afula, and the nearest ambulance in the area was about 25 minutes away. So if that kid had to wait 25 minutes for somebody to give him a CPR, obviously there was not much, to save. But I got there in 3 minutes, less, 2.5 actually. And I did save that kid. By the time the ambulance was there, that kid was on his mother's lap crying, and they took him to the hospital. They did all the checkout and everything. After Saturday, he was out and going back to his family. And since then, the family just call me every year on his birthday. I go there, I see the family. It was, I think, like 4 or 5 years ago, is a wonderful kid, and it's like my own kid. I just was there on the right time in the right place with the right equipment. Thanks to United Hatzalah and Eli Beer that give me that opportunity to help somebody. This is only one story. I got many more, but saving a life of a kid, was 1.5 years old, baby, almost lost his life. He did lost his life, and I saved him. It's a great feeling. I cannot explain that in words. When you help somebody, it's not for the money or anything else in the world can pay you enough for the feeling of saving and helping people. And this is the main thing of United Hatzalah. But 6,000 people in Israel know that feeling that I'm talking about. And it's not something that I can explain in words, even though my English is not that bad. I believe you can understand, but look at me. Saving people, helping people is the greatest feeling ever. And it takes a lot of time of, my own. I still got to work, and I got my own family and kids, and I leave everything behind me and volunteer and go save people, and they expect it, and they know that I'm doing it, because otherwise, people can really die by just waiting for an ambulance. It's not just here in Israel; it's everywhere. By the time the ambulance will get there, it takes a lot of time. And we got the equipment, we got the tools, the knowledge, and everything else we need to save people. So right now, it's a part of our life. It gets us 24/7. Sometimes in the middle of Friday night dinner, when we light the candles at the house and do our prayers and do a kiddush or whatever. We got a call. The family know. My wife know. If I gotta go, I just go and save people, and they're waiting for me until I get back. And then I tell them the story. I just saved somebody. It was an accident or whatever, and I did save these people, and I stopped the bleeding, and I took care of them, and they're okay. The feeling after that, continue my meal with my family, knowing that I just, save another person's life, and he can go back to his family. Doesn't matter if he's Jew or Christian or Arab or whatever. He got a family, he got parents, he got kids or whatnot, and he can go back to them because I was there on time to save him. It's the greatest feeling ever.
D, how many calls have you been on?
Today, you mean, or?
You can say today, but since you started volunteering.
Yeah. I don't know. Thousands.
Thousands.
I don't remember. I cannot count. It's been, I stopped counting. It's just part of my life, as I said. It's part of my life. Even though I'm not going out right now to save, and I'm talking to you guys, my crew is in the emergency room with the guy we just brought in. And as you said before, I'm a head of a group in Afula, and I make sure that this entire group keeps, doing what they know to do the best and go out on a call. And there is calls everywhere. I mean, all the time and everywhere, people get hurt and people need our service, and we do give our service no matter what, day, night, winter, summer, holidays. As I said, there is so many people here, like Arabs and Christians. Right now, it's the Ramadan. So the Arab volunteers, the Muslim volunteers, they fasting. They're not eating through the entire day, and then they can eat at night. This is the holiday for 30 days, I think. And still, they going out on the calls, even though they didn't eat the entire day. And then they get like 8 o'clock at night, they can sit down and eat, and they got a call. Then they don't think about anything. They just go. They just go and save people, and then they come back and with the family and the holiday and whatnot, and they go and eat. So I make sure that they got the equipment they need, and They got the motorcycles and ambulances and ships and equipment, and we make sure that they do, got everything they can to go out and save people, even though right now it's a difficult time with the virus, the COVID-19 virus. Make sure that they do have the safety equipment, the face mask and the suits and everything else. They need to protect themselves. And before we can treat somebody right now, we need to make sure he's not sick with the COVID-19, even though we cannot do a test or anything like that. But we do ask questions. If we cannot ask the questions, we make sure we protect ourselves with the gear that we do have. And then we go and save. So it takes a little bit more time, but we got to make sure we protect ourselves, because I don't want to see any of my guys get sick because he went to help somebody.
Can I ask a question? Can I interrupt?
Yeah,
first, I just want to say, Adi, thank you so much for joining us. It's incredible that you're sitting out in the dark behind your ambulance right now. It's like astounding to me. I can't believe what we're seeing. It's incredible. And I feel like if we were not all sitting, if the 500 people watching this in Zoom were not sitting in their homes at their computers, but we were in a room together, I'm sure we would all be standing up right now and giving you a standing ovation and clapping for you. So just imagine that that's what's happening. I know we have some time for questions and answers. Some people have been posting in the chat. I think some of them are going to be for Gavy, but while we have you talking, Adi, I wanted to ask you, one of the questions that just came up is actually something that I think you would be able to best be able to answer, which is now that the coronavirus has hit New York much harder than it has hit Israel. But there is obviously, with the shutdown in Israel, everything is different. Have you found that there have been? One of the questions is, has there been less activity because people aren't getting into car accidents and people aren't breaking their ankles, I guess, as much because they're playing basketball outside and things like that? How has your work been? Has it become easier almost, or less? Has there been less frequency of the work since the shutdown took place?
Well, actually the opposite. Because of the shutdown and everybody's in the house, United Hatzalah transferred his emergency number 121 to humanitarian call, which means elderly people, for example, okay, just one group of the entire community. Elderly people cannot go outside. They just in the complete lockdown. They cannot go do a grocery shopping. They cannot go and get their medicines, which they do need to take on a daily basis. They cannot go to a doctor. They cannot get outside the house at all. And they're not allowed to have anybody else coming in, okay? Completely shut down. So it means somebody needs to go and do shopping for groceries. Somebody needs to go to get for meds. Somebody needs to go and get whatever, toilet paper for them. They don't have it. They cannot go and get it. United Hatzalah used his entire authorization, the entire people, 6,000 people in Israel, not just volunteering and go and save people on a daily basis, whatever cause we do have, on the free time that we still have for our family and whatnot, work, what else. Actually, people not working right now because of the shutdown, but we use that time to go and do all those humanitarian calls. So we do get groceries shopping and medicine deliveries and sick elderlies. We take them to the hospital, took them back home. We are busiest as ever right now in these days, because there is nobody else that can, do that especially for the elderly people, but everybody else still need our, help. And there was about a week and a half ago, there was about a month ago in Jerusalem, one of our heads guys, his daughter. I'm trying to remember all the details, but it's a great story. I'm telling you, your hair is gonna go wild right now. One of the heads of the United Hatzalah in Jerusalem, his neighbor got sick. His wife got sick. Both of them took to the hospital. Okay, got connected to the machines and whatnot. Very bad condition. They left about 6 or 7 young kids at home. Okay, and nobody was able to get into the house because nobody want to get sick. Maybe the kids are sick too. Who's gonna take care of these kids? I think the youngest was like 2 years old or something like that. So the Laser, his daughter, she's 16 years old, volunteered to go into this house, take care of the kids. I think it was on a Passover night before, 2-3 days before Passover. She knew that she is not going to be able to leave the house because she's going to get in. Maybe she's going to get sick, but she's not going to be able to get out because the dangers of getting other people sick too. So she went into the house with the kids for 2 weeks. The neighbors deliver food and whatnot for her. And she did a Passover night without her parents or family, just stay there with the neighbor kids, just to help them. So can you imagine the spirit? 16 years old kid went to help another 6 kids that stay with no parents in the house on a Passover night, and nobody was there to help them. This is only one story that can tell you what we've been through this entire craziness of the COVID-19 here in Israel. And thank God for these kids and thank God for these people that, even though it's a shutdown and whatnot, people not thinking just about themselves. We think about the others. And that's what gives us the fuel, give us the spirit to, go outside in this craziness and put ourselves in behind without thinking about ourselves, even though we do try to protect ourselves most of the time, even though she put herself in danger, you can understand. She could get sick. Thank God everything is okay now, yeah? But we're not thinking about it.
That's absolutely incredible. I feel like we're all so many of us are inspired. I'm sure that my reaction is not as similar to what everyone else's reaction is. We all want to get to Israel and volunteer and learn and train ourselves as EMTs. I guess I'm going to ask a few more questions. We're going to go for about another 6 minutes or so, I think. Maybe Gavy, I asked a couple questions. I'm going to throw out a few questions, and you can respond instead of going back and forth. And maybe you can respond to some of these questions. Some of the questions I think that some of our people were curious about was the role of not just men. Women seem to be involved in it. To what extent are women part of the volunteers? I know in Hatzalah, in the the similar volunteer organization in the U.S. is I think in most places is exclusively for men. I'm also curious about the way in which sort of like you have is Muslim and Jewish volunteers kind of cooperate with each other. To what extent is that controversial? To what extent is the women's involvement controversial? And to what extent has some of that Muslim Jewish kind of cooperation has impact in other ways in Israeli society, perhaps beyond just life-saving in Hatzalah? And I guess that's 2 questions I'm really asked about women and also about Muslims and Jews. And the other one I'm going to say is, some people were asking about how old do you have to, some technicalities. How old do you have to be? How long is the training? If you can answer those kinds of things, that would be great.
Absolutely, and excellent questions. First of all, I think what is so amazing about United Hatzalah is that we don't view life-saving controversial, and it never should be. And obviously there are Hatzalahs that have their own guidelines and restrictions and rules, and that's up to them. But United Hatzalah is thinking out of the box. And if, God forbid, I had somebody that was in need of being saved and was having a heart attack, and I'm going to start opening up the front door and say, oh, no, please, I need a man, or please, I need a woman, but I'm just going to let my family member potentially die because it's not the right, human being that's there. That's not our approach. Our approach is we take politics away, and that's part of the reason why the word before Hatzalah in our organization is united. And that is exactly what Eli Bir did, is united the entire country. He united us all together. And his wife actually leads the midwives unit, which she started. And I can't tell you how many dozens of women that her unit has helped deliver babies. And wherever we can, obviously we will, if we are in a religious area in Jerusalem, let's say in C.A.R.E.S, which is a very high Orthodox area, and we happen to have a female medic that can treat a female, then we will ask on the radio, and if it's not a life-threatening call, which is urgent, we will wait for a female medic to come. I mean, we are very, very thoughtful in the process, but I think most of the times if somebody is in real stress and in a moment of crisis that really needs urgent care, they don't care who it is as long as it's a trained professional. So I think United Hatzalah from that standpoint is just breaking barriers by uniting and working together from all walks of life. And we don't even think twice. And moving to your question about the Muslims, where else can you find in Israel on a Thursday night? Thursday night in Israel is a big night to have cholent, especially in the ultra-Orthodox areas. And we have a lot of ultra-Orthodox volunteers. And if you come to our dispatch on Thursday night in the dispatch, they're eating cholent next to a Muslim volunteer. And then Saturday night, they'll be eating hummus with that Muslim volunteer. And it's just an amazing just to see the ethnicities just work together and combined in partnership. Because, again, it's just politics aside, we don't think about it. We work together, and that is our common cause, that is our common goal. It's to get out there and it's to save people's lives. And it's really making a big difference. Anyone can volunteer again, but the age is 21 and you have to at least be an EMT. An EMT course is a minimum of 6 months with about twice a week, every day from 5 to 10. And then, of course, there's very strict guidelines and tests. So you have to make sure that you pass all your tests because we are the first. We are on the front lines. When you call us, we're arriving within 90 seconds, just ourselves. And we need to make sure that our medics, when they graduate their courses, are fully trained and able to take on any task, whether it's delivering a baby or doing CPR. And we actually, when they graduate, are shadowed with a veteran volunteer. And I'm sure Adi knows this very well. When he gets a new group of volunteers, they are then not allowed to go into the person's home until they have completed at least 100 emergencies of whether it's 10 traffic accidents or 10 CPRs, making sure that they are fully equipped and certified with the knowledge and the expertise and the equipment that they need so that when they can go individually to an emergency, they are the best of the best. And I think not only is United Hatzalah take pride in its expertise and its professionalism, we're volunteers because it comes from our heart. We're not being paid to do any of this. And I think that's part of our success, and that is why it is so amazing to see the partnership that we have with each and every one of you and each and every one of our donors. It's because we share that mitzvah. It's one thing for Adi to right now be away from his family. Let me just put this one thing. He's away from his family right now doing an ambulance shift, not being paid totally, but the person who helped sponsor that ambulance is sharing that mitzvah right now. And we wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for that partnership.
Okay. I want to, this was absolutely inspirational. I'm almost in tears listening to, started with the video, then hearing having Adi with us, what a zechut this is for all of us together. I cannot thank you guys enough. There are definitely more questions, but I want to sort of I guaranteed we'd be done by 2:35, 2:45. I'm going to say that, people want to get in touch with Gavy. Kids, students, you can reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with Gavy. I'm sure that he would be able to answer any more questions. And I want to, on behalf of the entire SAR community, I want to thank both Gavy Friedson. I also want to thank Adi and for the extraordinary work you're doing. If there's any way that any of us can get involved, whether some of it might be fundraising, some of it might be volunteering ourselves as EMTs, you have really inspired us today, and we thank you for everything you have done and continue to do. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. And if you could just check our website, israelrescue.org. You can see how you can help us with our protective gear. That is the most important thing right now.
I'll send that out to the kids.
Fund. And thank you again for this opportunity. Really appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Everybody, go over to the advisory that you have set up for just a few minutes until the next period starts. Thank you all very much. Oh, this is great. This is great. Thank you for joining us.
Take care.